spooky sights.
We're just blown away by the number of people that have shown up here tonight.
Yeah, I like it.
We love it.
And Irving Park gets an eerie transformation for one night. And we are sharing all of the fun of this first ever drive-through event. On Track.
It's really a fun project to work on, and it's always fun just to kind of check out the technology of the day and see how they did things.
The caboose that has stood in Heritage Park for decades is getting a full restoration. Find out what's making it authentic. Neon nights.
It's almost a half mile of fairway lights.
Glowing and golfing at a local park, where you can find this colorful take on disc golf. Plus the young volunteers helping to plant trees and the updates at some local playgrounds. Now on City Source. Hello and welcome to City Source. I'm Thomas Gandy. Our top story today is once again COVID-19 as case numbers rise. As of production time, Dallas County is reporting an increase in daily case counts and hospitalizations. That means social distancing, face coverings, and other precautions continue to be important. At the most recent City Council work session, Irving's Emergency Management Coordinator offered an update on what else is happening.
And the state has recently submitted its draft vaccination plan to the CDC and is awaiting approval from the CDC to move forward with that plan. So we're anticipating that the vaccine could be available as early as late November in the state of Texas to start distributing to first responders and healthcare providers, and it's going to be a tiered approach.
The Irving Fire Department's response to COVID-19 was the topic of an event hosted by the Irving Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Café con Nosotros is for networking and education. It happens every month. Right now, the Chamber's events are virtual because there are still concerns about public gatherings. Listen to how the fire department was impacted.
I guess it was in July, the governor opened up a lot of our retail, movie theaters, and we went from 3 or 4 firefighters with positive COVID to 136 of them being off, either positive or quarantine, being exposed. So that's 1/3 of our department. And that's huge, as you know, that's huge.
The fire department has continued to tighten its procedures and conditions are now better. As we have reported, firefighters who have recovered have donated convalescent plasma to help other patients. At that same event, Irving Police Chief Jeff Spivey spoke and answered questions on some of the biggest issues in policing right now. Issues that came to the forefront after the death of George Floyd in Minnesota.
How would you characterize the Irving Police Department's relationship with the minority community? When I say minority community, of course, we know Irving is very diverse.
I would characterize our relationship with our minority community as strong. We have a number of outreach programs, but beyond the outreach, just our day-to-day interactions with our community because of its diversity, I think demonstrates that on every level of the organization, we're plugged into and have relationships with our community.
Chief Spivey also pointed out that the Irving Police Department is among the first to be accepted to the ABLE project. ABLE stands for Active Bystandership for Law Enforcement. It involves training officers for peer intervention. Basically, that means speaking up if a coworker is doing wrong. Georgetown University Law Center developed the program. Chief Spivey will be the special speaker at the annual Veterans Day service hosted by the Irving Veterans Memorial Park Committee. As you see in this video from past years, it will begin in the auditorium of the Jack D. Huffman Community Building and then move next door to the park for a wreath-laying ceremony. The event starts at 11:30 on Veterans Day, November 11th. Also in South Irving, Heritage Park is getting an expansion and massive makeover. We have told you all about the overall project. This time, we're checking out a lot of the detail and we're going into one specific piece of that park. The expansion of Irving's Heritage Park is pushing ahead. Along with a lot more space,
You're going to have a built-in amphitheater with an LED screen out there that's going to allow for a lot of programming and activities.
In addition to all that's modern, a favorite familiar feature is getting a major makeover. this red caboose.
In my world, we call that a large artifact.
Historic preservationist Ron Siebler is leading a team working to restore the caboose.
It's something I love to do and I'm blessed to be able to do it both as an occupation and a profession.
The caboose represents train's role in Irving's history. In 1902, J.L. Schultz and Otis Brown decided to start a town along newly laid tracks they were surveying. That town became Irving. This caboose is a symbol of that era.
Well, I think it's always important to remember how we started. I mean, we came about in Irving, Texas because of transportation, and in those days it was rail transportation. So when we talk about our heritage, we want to make sure that we include that caboose as part of the understanding of how this city started.
Tell me about the historical significance of this caboose.
It started life actually as a boxcar, probably built sometime around 1911, 1914 for what we now know as the Burlington Northern Railroad. It is what's called a metal frame or an exterior frame boxcar.
I think that's one of the big wooden beams.
Inside the caboose, work is underway to inventory each and every part.
We'll have to catalog all the little pieces of wood, the siding and the floor, see what's left. Anything that has to be remade will be remade.
The restoration we're doing is what I refer to as a frame off. Everything comes apart. Every board you see will be taken down and reconditioned.
They're careful to photograph and measure everything because they will have to get it all back in just the right place.
Months from now, when we start putting it back together, you can't rely on your memory. There's just too many parts here.
What's been the biggest surprise that you found so far in there?
The fire, the fact that the caboose at some point had been engulfed in fire.
It became pretty evident that most of the ceiling wood up here is going to have to be replaced in this section.
That was not evident to us until we began last week pulling that paneling down, and it has revealed itself to us.
Every piece in here helps fill in details of life on this caboose nearly a century ago.
Just some of the dauber stuff that I was talking to you about. There we go. Trying to find out what goes where.
The sad part is we don't figure everything out. We often run into things, little hints of what is this, what was this for.
In search of answers, they will crawl underneath the caboose, find and analyze old photos of it, whatever it takes to learn how people lived on here.
Your train crew consisted not just of an engineer, but a fireman who stoked the fire to keep the boilers and the steam engine working. You had brakemen who would literally manually operate the brakes on the cars. You had the conductor.
All in that small caboose?
All in that small caboose. And all those people had to have some place to stay and sleep and eat when the train was in motion, and the caboose served that function.
There are also some chapters of modern history worth sharing.
Kind of interesting. I used to belong to this guy. He was one of the voices of Big Tech.
Welcome to the State Fair of Texas.
For details, we go back to the dedication ceremony for this caboose in 1993.
We then heard about a Bill Bragg who had acquired one for the Communications Museum. Bill was going to put it in his house in Richardson, took a building permit out to do this. They got the tracks laid in his backyard, and they got the first set of wheels from the car and put it in his backyard, and the city council in Richardson found out about it and was highly offended, issued a court order to stop him from doing that.
Groups teamed up to buy the caboose for $11,000.
To find an old wooden historic caboose as we have here is a really exciting find for us.
We got the tracks, the car, delivered on our premises for what we consider a price less than the cost of the car itself. So we think we made a pretty good buy for the future young people in Irving.
And that is still the goal. The restoration is expected to be complete by the time the updated Heritage Park opens next year. Once this caboose opens, what impression do you want people to take away from their visit?
Well, authenticity is the first. It will help those of you a little younger than me to understand how maybe your grandfather who worked on the railroad, what his living conditions might have been like.
The city of Irving have a nice little caboose people can come in and check out.
A project that is on track to connect the city's past with what will be the most updated park. We have talked a lot about Heritage Park and Levy Event Plaza, two of the biggest projects in the park system right now. There are also a lot of smaller projects to improve parks and playgrounds. This is the scene at Town Lake Park on Esters Road. The playground for 5 to 12-year-olds just got a new rubber surface. Crews also repaired other areas, all in the name of safety.
There's 2 layers. There's a 3-inch layer, which is attenuating surface, which gives the system a bounce and give when something impacts, and then there's a smaller wear layer on top that gives the color, and you can make designs, and we chose to go with a solid color.
Our team stopped by the playground before the work started to give a glimpse of the need for this project. Parks crews inspect playgrounds often and had noticed the wear and even hazards that could cause people to trip.
This system had been in since the inception of the playground, which was probably over 10, 15 years range. So it had some time to wear. The UV definitely breaks down the glue in the binder. So it just needed some upkeep.
Also, teams are removing the old playground at West Park on Davis Drive. This is a preview of what's coming in its place. A brand new playground that will have artificial turf that will look like grass. Many of the elements are designed with ADA accessibility and inclusiveness in mind.
One of the coolest things I think is about the West Park design is they offer a silent grove, is what they're calling it, which allows for someone that could be overstimulated with the play and the components that they can retreat. It's a little bit quieter play that's on ground level. It's secluded kind of from the main units of the playground, and it's off to the side in the footprint. So it offers someone that could be overstimulated or needing a retreat but still wanted to enjoy the playground.
And updates to the pavilion at Centennial Park are wrapping up. Crews did some structural repairs and repainted it. That pavilion is available for rental through the Parks Department. A first-time event transformed Trinity View Park into Eerie Irving Park, and it happened for one night only to celebrate Halloween. We were there to catch the attractions. This is Eerie Irving Park.
This is great. Yeah, I like it.
The city remade Trinity View Park for one night, and a lot of scary characters lined the paths to greet the guests.
We will bring a night of horror.
To keep it safe from the creatures and COVID, people stayed in their cars for this strictly drive-through event.
Do you have a bucket, young man?
Those who wanted a less intense experience could come in the afternoon to see a headless horseman,
Play horseman,
dancing scarecrows, and so much more. But even this hour is too late for some. Right as this child arrived at the park,
he's falling asleep.
And he is probably a little young for one of this haunt's highlights, the zombie apocalypse.
Oh my God, that is cool.
It gets a lot more spooky after dark.
It's been really fun. The kids are really enjoying it. Not so much the little clowns, but everything else they like so far.
Come on in to the picture.
I'm blown away. We really wanted to do something special for the residents. We know people have been itching to get out to do something, and Halloween was going to be a different celebration this year, so we wanted to do something for the kids, and wow, have they responded.
The city is really trying to do everything we can to provide those quality of life products and entertainment for our residents. And we want to make sure that we raise that bar and we set that expectations for them, that they know that in Irving we're going to provide events for them that are worth coming out to and on their top quality.
You can see city leaders.
So I am Henry VIII.
Have different titles on this night.
I am the Wizard of Oz. This is the city manager's office. We've set up Oz in the Yellow Brick Road.
Of course, I'm the Tin Man. It's cool just to see all the families come through and pass out the candy, and I get to do my Tin Man wave.
Stay ahead of the game.
In fact, a lot of city employees are along the route committed to their characters.
Heads or tails?
I'm Winifred Sanderson.
I'm Mary Sanderson.
Sarah Sanderson. We're from Hocus Pocus, a Disney movie.
Happy Halloween from Hogwarts! Have you been sorted yet?
I'll sit still like I'm a puppet, and then I'll jump out and scare them. I am too much.
Well, this is our pirate setup, so we're happy to meet all the residents come through.
We're having pens and little toys too, and they're excited about that.
A lot of the kids are having fun. You can see a lot of smiles on their face, really enjoying the night.
Oh, we're having a blast. And it's just great to see everybody
smiling and laughing and dressed up.
There's so much going on out here, and it's just, there's car after car after car. Would you like some treats?
Yes, please.
All right, I have plenty of treats for all of you.
Wow, this is so spooky.
Plenty of people were ready for these thrills. The Parks Department estimates about 8,000 people came through Eerie Irving Park. The crowds did lead to traffic backups.
The wait was kind of long, but it was worth the wait.
Other than the traffic, it was awesome.
And some families told us this Halloween could have been a total bummer, with everyone focusing on staying healthy and avoiding crowds.
We weren't going to go out anywhere, so this kind of helped benefit, the kids and things like that.
This has just been a trying year for everybody. And, this is a special time of the year for the kids. They get to go out, they get to trick-or-treat and have candy. And that was taken away from them, so we wanted to be able to give them back something.
Get a little bit of a scare, get some candy, and you can really see the kids are having a great time and the parents are having a great time.
We are having so much fun. Thank you so much.
Plenty of laughs, plenty of screams, as Irving becomes eerie for the night. And there is one more parks program to tell you about. This one puts a colorful spin on a sport. It's called Neon Nights Disc Golf.
This is our Neon Nights Disc Golf.
Disc golf with a twist. What we wanted to do is actually have a familiar activity, but put our own Irving Parks and Recreation twist to it.
The course is designed with over 1,300 LED lights that line the fairways, tee boxes, and the greens.
Wow. Be prepared to have a good time.
Disc golf is set up exactly like golf, but you play with a disc, and the hole is actually a basket. So you count your strokes, and then you try to place the disc in the basket.
Don't worry about the strokes. None of us are professionals. We just want you to have a good time.
I mean, it's hard when you first learn how to keep the disc in the fairway. Other than that, it's just having fun.
Just give it effort and enjoy the environment.
We spend every day trying to figure out ways to bring people together. And so now we're trying to figure out a way to do that while keeping everybody safe and socially distanced.
We do have one tee time every 10 minutes, so each person that has a tee time or group, they complete that first hole, and then we have a new group come up.
And at the beginning of the round, you'll receive a disc that's set to your personalized color. So then when you're on the fairway, you're only touching the disc that you had.
We do sanitize all the equipment. Our community is looking at recreation staff and recreation as a whole to be an outlet when there's so much stress coming from other directions. So what we've been giving the green light to just be innovative, pivot and be flexible and put a twist to activities.
Put this together for a chance for our residents to come out, be active and have fun and get a chance to look at all the lights while staying socially distant.
It's here, and the response that we received from residents was amazing. Wow.
Yeah, our team had some fun out there. Neon Nights Disc Golf will happen again on November 6th and 7th at W.O. Harrington Park. It's $5 per tee time. Make reservations at cityofirving.org/IrvingRec. Walk-ups are accepted if spots are open. Those must be paid with credit card. In transportation news, DART launched GoLink service at the downtown Irving Heritage Crossing Station. That means riders can have personalized curb-to-curb service from that station to a destination of their choice in the service zone. All GoLink trips must be booked in advance. Learn more at dart.org/GoLink. Here is a record Texas does not want to hold. Our state ranks first in train collisions, and those collisions are on the increase in our state, while nationwide they are going down. That's one reason why AAA Texas is sharing information on rail safety. Experts recommend slowing down and looking both ways when approaching a crossing. Turn down your stereo so you can hear what may be coming, and never stop on the tracks.
Trains can't stop on a dime, and so when one is approaching, it's usually going faster and it's closer than it appears. If you see a train going 50 miles per hour, it needs more than a mile to stop.
Safety advocates also warn about being too eager to cross right after a train passes because there may be another one coming. In economic development news, the world's largest franchisor of home service brands announced it is opening a second headquarters in Irving. It will occupy 34,000 square feet at 500 East John Carpenter Freeway. In the coming years, the company expects to employ more than 200 people there. The new headquarters is scheduled to open in April. Irving Solid Waste Services scheduled its next household document shredding event for Friday, November 6th at the Briery Municipal Compound. That's at 128 North Briery Road. The event is usually popular with residents, so it is limited to 2 boxes and is for Irving residents only. The shredding drop-off runs from 11 a.m. until 2 p.m. or when the truck fills up. Irving's Running Bear Park has some new trees thanks to some Girl Scouts who volunteered with Keep Irving Beautiful. Take a look.
I've never planted a tree before.
You excited?
Yeah, I'm really excited.
And now remember, we gotta pack it down. And you're gonna do a little rain dance right here.
Rain dance.
We're helping kind of beautify the park, bringing some more trees to grow, give shade for future generations to enjoy here at the park.
They can take this information home and they can spread it out to relatives and families.
I've learned that you don't just put seeds in a hole and then they grow. You need steps.
I like it when they say, oh, I didn't know that. That means this class is benefit for them and for so many years to come.
Did you notice we got girl power today?
You don't think of girls as kind of wanting to do these sorts of things?
It's a dirty job.
This event wouldn't be possible without the support from the UPS and the Keep America Beautiful grant. This park is enjoyed by many of our residents and visitors to the community, so we want to make it look nice and inviting to them.
Tree is important for a lot of factors, like for clean air.
We need oxygen to survive, so we need trees, plenty of trees.
And it can give us shade on a hot day.
We couldn't do the things that we do without the help of our volunteers.
It's really important for them to kind of know the ecology. How to make sure that the parks stay nice and beautiful.
It feels like I'm really helping the community, and it makes me feel like I'm making a difference.
It feels good to go out and just plant nature. Because a couple years later, I can point at the trees and say, me and my troop planted these trees. And look at them now.
It is time now for our Pets of the Week, so let's head out to the Animal Care Campus. Michael Whiteside from the DFW Humane Society is with us. Michael, I know Mother's Day is in May, but there's a reason we're talking about mama dogs right now.
That's correct. Our first dog today is Daggett. Daggett is a little over a year old, and she's had a really interesting story since we first met her. When she first came to the shelter, her previous owner arrived at the Irving Animal Care Campus with 16 dogs in his car, and he had become homeless and was obviously not able to care for 16 dogs and keep them in his car. So we worked with Irving Animal Services and ended up, he surrendered, I believe, 11 of the dogs, and he kept some. We did find out that he was able to find a home and move to Tennessee with the dogs he kept. So that's good news. But of the ones that we took, none of them had been spayed or neutered. And it turned out that Daggett was pregnant. We kept her here for a bit. When it got close time to have the puppies, she went home to a foster home briefly, had her puppies, and now they are grown and several have already been adopted. And she came back and she's ready to go home now too. Now she is a little bit shy because she's been kind of up and down. She, coming from the homeless situation and then in the shelter and then in a home for a bit and then back in the shelter. So she does take a little bit of time to warm up, but she is so sweet, and she really just enjoys spending time with people once she gets to know you. She's also great with other dogs because she has lived with other dogs, and she's just a really sweet girl that just needs a little extra TLC to acclimate to a new home.
In this case, it underscores the importance of spaying and neutering, and there is help available for Irving residents, correct?
That's correct. I mean, besides the fact that, it helps cut down on pet overpopulation, there's health benefits to spaying and neutering your pets that, go through their entire life. And right now, we still have vouchers available for City of Irving residents that will cover the cost of spay-neuter surgery through one of our partners, TCAP or Spay Neuter Network. And all you need to do is contact the shelter, and we can get you set up with one of those vouchers.
And November is Adopt a Senior Dog Month, and you have Mimi to talk about, who fits that category.
Definitely. Mimi is 10 years old. She is a little terrier mix, and she is the sweetest dog. She loves to be held. She loves to be around people. She's very calm and very quiet, and she just really needs a place to spend her golden years hanging out, getting some love and attention. And she's super friendly. From what the previous owner had stated, she's been around other pets and she's been around children. So even though she's a quiet dog, she has been around children. But I would say probably older children would be best, because they tend to be not quite as loud around her, but I don't think that's going to bother her too much. She seems kind of laid back for a 10-year-old girl, and she's just going to make a fantastic companion for someone.
Some good dogs with some interesting stories behind them. Thanks for sharing, Michael.
Thank you.
The best way to adopt right now is to call the Animal Care Campus and make arrangements to meet. DFW Humane Society's number is 972-721-7788. For Irving Animal Services, call 972-721-2256. Also, check out the websites you see on your screen. See how Irving is marking Veterans Day next time on City Source. And an event called Miracle Music Monday is designed to provide inspiration in these challenging times. We'll have coverage next time on City Source. And I am eager to put together this story for you. Irving hosted the World Firefighter Challenge, and it is quite a challenge. Meet some of Irving's competitors and some of those who traveled a long way to get here. Those stories and much more next time on our show. Remember, you can always email us your thoughts on our stories. The address is ictn@cityofirving.org, and find us on YouTube. Our channel is at youtube.com/thecityofirving. Subscribe and you can get notifications when we upload new videos. And that's it for this edition of City Source. Thanks for watching. Stay healthy, and we will see you next time.